As you delight yourself in the Lord, He actually starts to change your desires to desire His desires. Tim, bring you words of grace today from in between LaGuardia and City Field behind me. We're fishing tonight with my kiddos, and it is interesting. We're talking about inclination as we think through the pillars on which we rest the decision making we have. As far as fishing goes, that's not necessary. I'm always wanting to jump in the water, but the uncles love fishing, so somehow it goes that way in our family. My boys love fishing. They could be here all day, and then their uncle Dave could fish all day, and then Dave's uncle Mark could fish all day, but I didn't get that gene. This is a very important pillar when we think through what does God want me to do. One question you should ask is, what is your inclination? What is your inclination? The first one is providence. You see how God has led to this point, and then that you kind of put that forward and think of how He's leading in the future. So providence. The second one is inclination. Inclination. I'm going to let this plane pass. All right, you steal all the sound. Inclination. Psalm 34:7 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Now, it doesn't say He will give you everything your heart desires, but He will give you the desires of your heart. And that's an important thing to consider. He does give you desires. And so it's important to think about your desires when you think about what God would have you do in these gray areas, these difficult decisions that you make that aren't exactly definitely right or wrong. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And that's a good thing to consider. I think of my wife talking to her dad one time. A guy told her that he felt like they should get married, and God had told him that. And so she said, "What do I do, Dad?" And he said, "Well, do you like him?" And she said, "No." And so Sarah stopped talking to me for a year. No, that wasn't me. But that's a very good point, right? If it's something that you don't desire and it's that huge of a decision, then it's probably not the way God is leading. One clarification, one caution. The clarification would be this: He will give you the desires of your heart, but you have to think through the first part of that verse, which is delight yourself in the Lord. Are you delighting yourself in the Lord today? As you delight yourself in the Lord, He actually starts to change your desires to desire His desires. Seeking first His kingdom and His righteousness, you'll actually begin to desire the things of God. Foundational to this point is, are you finding delight in God? Do you love Him? Are your affections stirred in Him? Are you spending time with Him in prayer, Bible reading, listening to Him? Are you building that relationship with Him? Then your desires are going to change to where you love the things He loves. You desire the things He desires, and that will be supernatural. That's a phenomenal way to decide God's desires for you. Another caution, this is not just saying, what do you want? That's it. That's part of it. But our heart is very deceitful. So the Bible warns us, the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked, who can know it? So we have to examine our heart desires in light of these other pillars that we've talked about, and the beginning foundational thing of, is there moral absolutes? Yes, I'm obeying the moral absolutes. Okay, so then what do you desire? And so that's a great question. When you think about right now, that issue, that thing you're deciding, well, what do you want to do about it? What do you want to do? And that first thing you come to is important. And it might be fishing, or it might not. It might be jumping in the water. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. All right, providence, inclination, and next time we'll see love, the third pillar.